The defense came out swinging on day 5 of Buffalo Bills training camp, putting together a dominant performance that had the offense on its heels. But let's not sugarcoat it. While the defense turned heads, the growing injury list is casting a long dark shadow over what should be an energizing start to camp. The big story from the day, no question, was the injury to first-round pick Maxwell Harrison, a highly touted cornerback out of Kentucky. Harrison had been pegged as one of the key players to watch heading into camp. But during individual drills, no contact, no traffic. He slipped in what teammates described as a non-contact freak accident. The training staff rushed over immediately, working through the initial knee test right there on the field. He managed to walk off under his own power with the help of trainers, which is something sure, but make no mistake, this didn't look like something minor. The tension was real. Teammates gathered around, and after practice, veteran Taron Johnson revealed that the team actually held a group prayer for Harrison. That says it all. When your teammates stop practice and pray for you, it means the fear of a significant injury is very real. And for a rookie trying to carve out a role missing reps this early is a brutal setback. Harrison came in with hopes of pushing for a starting job opposite Christian Benford, but that climb just got way steeper, especially with the way Tre'Davious White has been showing out in camp so far. Now, let's be honest. Even before this injury, it looked like White had the upper hand in the cornerback battle. He's had a phenomenal camp. The footwork is crisp, the reads are sharp, and you can see his competitiveness on every rep. He's getting his hands on the ball jumping routes, bringing the kind of energy you expect from a former All-Pro. But here's the catch. This is a guy whose last couple seasons were riddled with injuries, a torn ACL, a ruptured Achilles. Last year, he split time between the Rams and the Ravens, never really sticking as a long-term piece. The Ravens found a situational role for him in their dime packages, and he held his own. That experience helped revive his value, and now in Buffalo, he's got a real shot to start again. But here's the real concern. Starting the season strong is one thing. Making it through an entire 17-game season, plus playoffs ideally, is another. White hasn't done that in a while. If he's your starting corner, you're betting on durability just as much as skill. So while he's passing the eye test now, the Bills still need insurance at the position, which makes Harrison's status even more critical. This is a defense that wants to lean into pressure, into speed, into chaos. You need depth and you need continuity. The cornerback depth, which was once seen as a major strength heading into camp, suddenly feels a bit fragile. Dane Jackson is still in the mix, and you know what you're getting with him. A savvy, experienced veteran who started a ton of games. Then there's Jamarcus Ingram, who's made the most of his limited opportunities over the years, both as a practice squad contributor and as a depth piece on game day. He's got value, but again, he's not a guy you want to throw into the fire without a strong supporting cast around him. Rookie Dorian Strong is another name in the hat, but expectations have to stay grounded. He's a day 3 pick, and while there's plenty to like about his game, he's still making the jump to the NFL level. Physical tools are there, but can he handle the mental grind, the quick reads, the elite route runners? That's the real test. It's wild how fast things can change. What looked like one of the most complete depth charts on the roster has taken a hit. You lose your first-round pick for any extended time, and suddenly the whole outlook shifts. And while the final diagnosis on Harrison isn't confirmed yet, the mood around the team tells you everything. They're bracing for the worst. On the bright side, the defense as a whole has been the story of camp. Day 5 was all about third and long situations and 2-minute drills. And the defense flat out dominated under new defensive assistant Ryan. Nielsen, the Bills are dialing up pressure like we haven't seen in a long time. 5-man pressures, slot corner, blitzes, backers flying through gaps. It's all on the table. This is not a defense that plans to sit back and react. They are forcing the issue, and it's working. The offense, including Josh Allen, had to settle for a ton of checkdowns. You could see the urgency increase as the pocket collapsed over and over again. Allen, to his credit, stayed composed, but there wasn't much downfield action. That's what this defense is doing right now, taking away time, space, and rhythm. The aggressive approach is generating chaos, and it's starting to look like an identity. Let's highlight some individual standouts. Joey Bosa got some team reps for the first time and made them count. He got a clean win against left tackle. Dion Dawkins, which would have been a sack if contact on quarterbacks were allowed. Anytime you beat a pro bowler like Dawkins with ease, that's a rep that stands out. It's only camp, but that's the kind of moment that gets coaches excited. Ed Oliver continues to be a force. In the run-heavy sessions, he was disruptive. On day 5, it was more about getting upfield, and Oliver looked explosive. He was living in the backfield, racking up pressures and tackles for loss. That's the version of Ed Oliver the Bills need this season. Relentless, twitchy, and energized. Same goes for Greg Rousseau, who's been quietly stacking good days. Rousseau's strength and length make him a monster in these pressure packages, collapsing pockets with bull rushes and getting his hands in passing lanes. He's batted down several passes already, and that's no accident. He's playing smart, disciplined football. AJ Epinesa is another name worth mentioning. Like Rousseau, he's thriving in these aggressive looks. Whether he's setting the edge or chasing quarterbacks inside his motor is running hot. Even Shaq Thompson, a late addition to the roster, is making noise. People weren't sure what to expect from him. Over 30 coming off 2 season-ending injuries, one being an Achilles. But so far, he's looked spry. With Terrell Bernard sidelined, Thompson is getting a lot of first-team run, and he's making it count. He's been sharp in coverage, effective as a blitzer, and active against the run. At the very least, he's going to make the final roster decisions at linebacker a lot more interesting. Matt Milano, he's on another level. In fact, one of the plays of the day came from him. Josh Allen tried to hit Dalton Kincaid on an outbreaking route near the sideline, and Milano, sitting in a shallow zone, read it perfectly. He kept sinking, baited Allen into the throw, and jumped the route for an interception. It was textbook linebacker play. Instinct timing, ball skills. Milano is playing with the kind of confidence that only comes from mastering your role, and it's showing on every snap. And while the defense has clearly had the upper hand so far, there are a few offensive wrinkles worth noting. The Bills have been mixing in the pistol formation, shotgun look with the back behind the quarterback, which creates some new angles in the run game. James Cook took a few reps as the deep back with Reggie Gilliam lined up alongside Josh Allen. The play didn't go anywhere because Ed Oliver blew it up, but the concept is interesting. There's also been a heavy dose of 2-back sets, whether it's Cook and Gilliam or Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. Those groupings are getting reps together, suggesting the coaching staff wants to stress defenses with formation versatility. Even more fun. We saw 3 separate hook and lateral attempts. That's not something you usually see in camp. And while the execution was mixed, the fact that the Bills are practicing it at all is a sign they're thinking creatively. Trick plays aren't typically Buffalo's thing, but maybe that's changing. With all the injuries piling up, especially a wide receiver, there are some under-theritor names taking advantage of the extra reps. Stephen Gosnell, an undrafted rookie out of Virginia Tech, has quietly made a strong impression. He got a couple first-team reps with Josh Allen and made the most of them, including hauling in a deep ball that was easily the longest play of the day. It might not mean he's making the roster, but every camp has a surprise name that turns heads in preseason. Gosnell is trending in that direction. Travis Clayton is another guy to watch. The rugby convert taken via the International Pathway program is raw. There's no way around that. But he's also getting real reps. And while not every snap is clean, there are enough flashes to make you wonder if there's a longer-term project. Worth developing here. He's powerful, aggressive, and learning quickly. There's also been steady growth from safety. Juan Day Owens, a hard-nosed, undrafted player who's been flying around on special teams and making his presence felt in run support. Defensive tackle Casey Rogers and former Falcons draft pick Zion Logue have also caught some attention, especially with their effort technique and physicality during team sessions. That's the thing about camp. You're always looking at the big picture, but it's these smaller storylines, these fringe roster guys stepping up, that start to paint the full portrait of the team. You never know who's going to be the next practice squad gem that earns a call-up in December. Injuries are going to be part of the story. No getting around that. But the defensive dominance, the creativity on offense, and the emergence of unexpected names, that's what makes training camp worth watching. While the defense continues to shine and a few lesser-known players make the most of their camp opportunities, the injury list is spiraling into something that can no longer be brushed off as normal camp wear and tear. There's a line between being cautious with players and being overwhelmed by attrition, and right now the Bills are dangerously close to crossing that line. The number of guys either missing practice limited or not finishing sessions is mounting fast, and it's starting. to impact not just reps but overall team chemistry and camp momentum. Let's start with the offensive line. Spencer Brown is still sidelined with a back issue. That's not exactly encouraging when you consider how crucial this camp is for his development. The Bills are counting on him to be the starting right tackle. And it's not just about getting in shape. It's about sharpening technique, syncing with the rest of the line, picking up new defensive pressures. You miss days at this stage, and it's tough to play catch-up. He's been out there watching in street clothes engaged, yes, but not getting live reps. And for a guy trying to finally lock in his role as a reliable starter, that's a setback no matter how you spin it. Then there's Cedric Van Pran-Granger, who came in with some real hype as a young center prospect. A calf injury has kept him out. And while that doesn't sound major, it's enough to keep him from taking any real reps. That means fewer chances to develop chemistry with the quarterbacks and offensive guards, something you can't simulate once the season starts. Chemistry on the interior of the offensive line takes time, and time is slipping away. At wide receiver, the situation is even worse. Tyrell Shavers is out with an ankle injury, and while coaches insist it's not serious, it still means missed reps for a guy fighting for a spot. Curtis Samuel, one of the bigger additions this offseason, has been missing time with a hamstring issue. You can't establish a rhythm or build timing with your quarterback when you're sidelined half of camp. Caden Prather, another promising young receiver also dealing with a hamstring, hasn't been able to stack any days together. And even Elijah Moore, the presumed WR2 or WR3 depending on the set, has been absent due to leg soreness. That's 4 receivers out. Add KJ Hamler, who missed the day with heat-related concerns, and suddenly your offense is operating with a completely different unit than expected. It gets to a point where it's not just about giving extra reps to the backups. It's about survival. During team drills, Josh Allen was out there throwing to Steven Gosnell and Deion Kane. That's not ideal. It's great for those guys, and you hope they use the reps to earn more trust, but when your franchise quarterback is working without his top 3 or 4 targets, it limits the effectiveness of those reps. It limits the kind of looks the defense sees too. It alters everything. These aren't just reps for depth players. They're supposed to be reps that prepare your starters for the grind of the season. Tight end is facing a similar issue. Knox missed the session with a hamstring problem. He was on the side catching passes in a helmet, which is better than nothing, but again, no team reps. The good news, Dalton Kincaid returned after missing just 1 day with knee soreness, but for a duo that's supposed to be a key part of the offensive structure, especially in 12 personnel looks, they need live reps together. The tight end room did get some valuable work from Jackson Hall, who's been a pleasant surprise. No more as a blocker, he's shown some ability in the passing game, 2 working short routes with decent hands and awareness. But make no mistake, the coaching staff would much rather be installing packages with their 2 top-tier guys healthy and on the field. Linebacker is another spot taking hits. Terrell Bernard hasn't suited up due to a hamstring injury. Dorian Williams, a player who could have pushed for more snaps and sub-packages, has been out with a calf issue. Both are key rotational players, or more, in a system that thrives on linebacker versatility. The only upside is that it's opening the door for Shaq Thompson to make a real impression, and so far he's done exactly that. But still, the lack of continuity at the second level is a concern. New injuries just keep popping up. On Tuesday, Dwayne Carter missed practice with an illness. Offensive lineman Alec Anderson was out with a knee issue. Mike Edwards and KJ Hamler both left due to heat-related symptoms. Larry Ogunjobi had a veteran rest day, which is planned, but it further depleted the defensive front that's already rotating a lot of new faces. And then there's Ty Johnson and Cole Bishop, both left practice early. Now they remained on the field still in uniform, which is a positive sign. But when you've got 2 more players exiting before the whistle blows, the pattern is clear. This is no longer isolated incidents. It's a camp-wide issue. The team will get a break on Wednesday, and it couldn't come at a better time. They need the rest. They need to assess who can go, who needs a few more days, and who might be out long term. But as much as the Bills want to be cautious, and as much as some of these absences might be precautionary, the fact remains valuable reps are being lost. And those lost reps matter. They matter for player development, for competition battles, for scheme installs, and most importantly, for building cohesion. The season isn't won in July, but you can absolutely lose momentum if your top guys aren't getting work. That's what makes the injury to Maxwell Harrison even more painful. This wasn't just a first-round rookie looking to impress. He was expected to compete for a starting job. And now, not only is that in jeopardy, but you start to wonder if his entire rookie season is on the table. That's a massive blow for a team that's been working hard to overhaul its secondary depth. The ripple effect of all these absences is very real. The trickle-down impacts how hard the coaching staff can push certain packages. It changes which players are available for critical reps in goal line work, 2-minute drills, or red zone situations. And maybe more than anything, it disrupts evaluation. Coaches want to make fair, informed roster decisions. That's hard to do when players are in and out of the lineup. Still, the work goes on. And for every veteran sideline, there's a young, hungry player stepping up. We've talked about Steven Gosnell and how he's earned reps with the first team. But he's not alone. Juandai Owens is showing flashes as a physical, fast-reacting safety. He's made plays in the box, flashed some range, and brought solid effort on special teams. You can see the potential there, if not for the active roster right away, then definitely as a practice squad piece who might grow into a contributor. Casey Rogers, a defensive tackle with a high motor and compact frame, has made the most of his reps too. He's not the most physically imposing guy, but his leverage, hustle, and hand usage are standing out. He's fighting through double teams, staying low, and getting off blocks with consistency. He's the kind of player who earns a spot, not because of highlight plays, but because he's impossible to ignore when you watch a full practice. Zion Logue has looked like a different player compared to last year. Leaner, more defined, and much more explosive off the ball. When he anchors inside, he's playing with solid pad level and controlling his gaps well. He may not be on the final 53, but if he keeps progressing like this, he'll be a phone call away if someone on the interior gets banged up during the season. And then there's Travis Clayton. The rugby background is obvious in the way he moves. Lots of raw energy. Some unrefined technique, but undeniable athleticism. What's encouraging is that he's not just getting reps for show. He's handling team periods. He's getting work in one-on-ones. It's not perfect, but he's holding his own more often than not. That's a strong indicator that the staff sees developmental value there. Preseason will be his big test. If he can get on the field and not be a liability, that's a major step. The talent is there. The depth is there. But the reality is none of that matters if the core group can't. Stay healthy. That's where this camp finds itself now, trying to balance opportunity with caution, preparation with preservation. One misstep, one wrong cut, one mistimed hit, and the plan for week 1 starts to unravel. So now, with a rest day on the horizon and a pivotal practice coming Thursday, the Bills need clarity. Who's coming back? Who's still a few days away? Who's in danger of missing significant time? These are the questions that will shape the rest of camp. Because while training camp is always full of optimism and surprise performances, the foundation of a great season is built with healthy, prepared starters. And right now, that foundation is being tested in a big way. Every camp has its moments of adversity. This one just feels like it's piling up a little too fast. From the top of the depth chart to the fringe, players fighting for a spot. The Bills need the tide to turn, and soon. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing with what could be one of the most seismic coaching moves in recent memory. Sean McVay, the mastermind behind the Los Angeles Rams' offensive resurgence, might be on his way to the Buffalo Bills. While nothing is officially confirmed, whispers across league circles suggest that the Bills are aggressively pursuing McVay to take the reins, potentially reshaping their franchise's future and shaking up the balance of power in the AFC. How? For years, Sean McVay has been regarded as one of the brightest young minds in football coaching. Since taking over the Rams in 2017, he turned a struggling franchise to an instant contender, leading them to multiple playoff appearances and a Super Bowl victory. McVay's offensive genius, innovative play calling, and ability to maximize talent have earned him early Hall of Fame talk, with many insiders considering him a coaching prodigy capable of transforming any team into a powerhouse. Now, the rumor that McVay could leave the Rams is sending shockwaves through the league. The Rams, currently rebuilding after recent roster upheavals and salary cap challenges, might be forced to start over with a fresh coaching direction. Losing McVay will be a significant blow to their immediate future and long-term competitiveness. On the other hand, the Buffalo Bills, led by quarterback Josh Allen and boasting a roster rich with talent on both sides of the ball, could skyrocket into true Super Bowl contention with McVay at the helm. Buffalo's front office has been quietly working behind the scenes to build a contender, and adding a proven head coach like McVay would be the missing piece to elevate the Bills from playoff regulars to legitimate championship favorites. McVay's offensive schemes could perfectly complement Allen's dynamic skill set, creating a more unpredictable and explosive attack. Moreover, his reputation for developing young talent and fostering a winning culture could galvanize the Bills' locker room and fan base alike. Of course, coaching moves of this magnitude are complex and involve multiple layers of negotiation. The Rams reportedly value McVay highly and would demand significant compensation if he were to leave. Additionally, McVay's own preferences, contract details, and vision for the future would play major roles in any decision. The Bills, however, appear ready to do what it takes, which includes lucrative contracts and autonomy in football operations, to lure McVay to Buffalo. This potential shift also raises questions about the AFC landscape. The Bills, who have been perennial contenders but have yet to break through to a Super Bowl appearance, could gain a strategic edge over their division rivals and AFC powerhouses like the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, the Rams, once the toast of the NFC West, might face a challenging rebuild without their charismatic leader. While fans and analysts eagerly await official word, the McVay to Bills rumor has already sparked heated debates across social media and sports talk shows. Some argue the Bills could become the NFL's new dynasty, while others wonder if the pressure and expectations might weigh too heavily on McVay in Buffalo's demanding market. Still, the mere possibility of this move has reinvigorated the NFL off-season and given fans a tantalizing storyline to follow. In summary, while the dust has yet to settle, the whispers that Sean McVay might be heading to Buffalo create a fascinating scenario with huge implications. The Bills could land their future Hall of Fame coach, transforming their title hopes overnight, while the Rams face the difficult prospect of moving on without their most successful leader. As the NFL world waits for confirmation, one thing is clear. If this rumor turns into reality, the league's coaching landscape and competitive balance will never be the same again. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.